Among other planes that I discovered that are an absolute monster in the battle rating, this is one of them. What, you don't believe me? Then watch. Hey guys, it's Jamie here, and welcome back to warthunder. And in today's video, we are taking out a plane that I kinda wish I discovered a little bit earlier, but good news though, it's really not too late. This is the Key 43 3 Otsu. And like I said in the intro, this thing is an absolute monster in both air realistic and ground RB. Now just a quick little disclaimer, I was playing this thing in air realistic only, mainly because I was grinding the F14. Didn't really take this thing out into ground RB. Anyway. In the past, whenever I'm looking at Japanese planes, all I can think about is the A6M fighters, A6M2-N, A6M2 Mod 11, and afterwards the A6M M3. One issue is that, like, sure, in Air RB they can be a nasty piece of work, but when you bring them to ground RB, let's just say, yeah, this is just sad. So all I could think about is the A6M fighters, and then whenever I'm going to ground RB, I'll just take out some of these dive bombers like the B5N1, B5N2, B6N1, or maybe even the B7A2. Problem is that some of them, either their armaments are absolute pieces of garbage, like a single 7.7 machine gun really, or maybe they have a good armament, like the B7A2. The problem is that they are very chunky aircraft, like sure they can turn when you have speed, but once you lose all that speed, have fun trying to keep this thing in the air. So that's what this Key 43 actually is. It combines the best of two worlds. Firstly, like the A6M2, this thing is definitely a turn fighter. Like, I know it says 16 seconds right here in the turn time. I could have sworn this thing actually turns a lot faster than this. And the scary part is that it doesn't matter if you're flying at 500 kilometers an hour or 350 kilometers an hour. And especially at 350 to 300 kilometers an hour, you can deploy your combat flaps. Yeah, it's over for those guys. And not to mention, it does climb well, and building up to speed is really not an issue with this thing. So basically, like one of my previous video with the BV-155, what I can do is that I can fly to high altitude and basically rob everybody who relies on the altitude advantage of their state advantage. Now of course, there's always a drawback, and one of the most common ones for turn fighters is that this thing doesn't really like speed. Like sure, you can go up to 574 kilometers an hour. The thing is, it's a little bit of a risk because when you're flying this fast, your wingspan, when you make a very sharp turn, has a high risk of ripping off. I mean, sure, you can turn around 500 kilometers an hour, but any higher than that, better not. And not to mention, you don't have a very good energy retention, as well as some planes, they can go as fast as 600 to 700 kilometers an hour by simply diving and then just flying level. This plane, not as much. So if you're in a Yak 3 or BF-109 or a Westland Wyvern, and then you come across this guy, don't turn fight him, just fly away. That's all you need to do. I just realized I give these things weakness away, but whatever. And of course, the other issue with this aircraft is that should the enemy plane actually get on your tail and put some rounds into you, you're not going to be alive for very long because you're not a very solid aircraft. You're what I would call a very paper aircraft. Sure, there's maybe nothing a lot going on in here, but literally, this steel right here is the only piece of armor in your aircraft, and nothing else. And then moving on, the firepower of this thing that makes this an absolute monster in air realistic battles is that you have two 20mm Hu-5 autocannons in the nose. Two 20mm in the nose. And these are not like some weak 20mm like the German MG-FF or whatever. These 20mm actually hit quite hard. And of course, the ammo that we'll be using is the Universal Belt, High Explosive Fermentation Incendiary, and Armor Piercing Tracer Shell. And thankfully, unlike the French MB-157 plane that we played last week, these 20mm are not so much of a hit and miss. One of these high explosive rounds connects, you are blowing away huge chunks of the enemy plane. instead of just making holes in everybody's left wing. And not to mention, unlike the A6M2 and the MP157, you have 150 rounds in each 20mm. Not going to run out of ammo very quickly in this thing. But there is one thing you need to be very careful of. Yes, you can see the fire rate, 950 rounds per minute. Yeah, if you're not very careful, you are going to burn your 150 rounds very quickly in this thing. So just adopt short bursts, single taps, whatever. Just don't hard spray your 20mm. I mean, I guess the other weakness that this thing has is another weakness that this thing has is probably the round velocity of these 20mm, like MP157 20mm, the Hispano 20mm you find on British fighters, as well as the MG151 German 20mm. I don't really have an issue leading those rounds, but for the Key 43 I kinda struggle a little bit. So I suspect the 20mm round velocity is a little bit lacking, but it shouldn't take too long to get used to it. So why is this thing a giant threat to the ground RB as well? Is this thing like the A6M where you're only carrying like 60kg shells? The answer is no. Unlike the A6M2, you are carrying two 250kg shells. So yeah, more or less like the same 250kg shells you drop from the BF109, F4 or F2 or whatever it is. And the best part is that not only do you have two of these 250kg shells, they drop one at a time. So that means you can make two passes and potentially get yourself two tanks instead of just dropping one and then just reduce yourself to fighter mode. And not to mention, ground RB airspace battles is nowhere as big as air realistic. So a lot of the fighting is very quickly devolved into turn fighting or maneuver fighting, dog fighting, whatever it is, instead of just booming and zooming, or altitude advantage or whatever. So yes, you guess what I'm trying to hint here. Once you drop your 250kg shells, turn fighter mode. Just shoot down everybody you look at. Unless of course you run out of ammo. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about the Key 43 Mark III also. Now let's take this here onto air realistic battles and let's show all those annoying yak trees who is the boss here, shall we? God damn it, teammate! Come, don't fight me, brother. Don't fight me, brother. Is the 190 and I really the last people on the team? Yeah, we are, god damn it. Guys, I know the F14 is juicy, but please don't do this. sound, no nothing. Yes, climb, buddy, climb! Okay, 3018. This guy needs to go. Especially since he's nice and slow right now. I am about to run out of ammo.
Fight me! I dare you!
Good try, buddy. Oh, Ivan, what are you doing?
Take him down!
A zoom climb like that is a death sentence for you, man. Yeah, you can have it. I'll still keep on him though, in case he puts out the fire. There you go. Yeah, that's a death sentence right there. Don't ever zoom climb with the wyvern. Teammate, stop shoulder firing me!
Destroy the target! Engaging the enemy! Attack the enemy!
Really, dude? Really? Really?
Just a little more effort, and victory will surely be ours.
Nice try, buddy. No, actually, I shouldn't say that sarcastically. Like, really, nice try.